Hi everyone, thanks for joining. This week I'm going to be using real aloe vera and incorporating that into a cold processed soap recipe. It's actually a remake of one of my older videos on the channel. I just wanted to do some updates, explain things a little bit more, and there were some volume issues. So the first thing we want to do is get the aloe from the actual aloe vera plant. And you want to make sure that you're not getting those spiky edges into the soap, so you need to trim those off and then peel away the skin so you can get the gel from the actual aloe vera plants themselves. Now I've seen people do this with a knife and make it look really easy. I'm not very good at it, so it did take some time and it is a little bit slippery, but just try to get as much of the actual gel itself out of the plant, and then I kind of just put it in a little container off to the side. And when you're doing this, you can use for your lye water solution either a partial or full mix of the water, lye, whatever you call this, puree, gel, whatever, as part of your recipe. So I was only able to extract a few ounces, so don't freak out if you don't have quite enough to make the soap. Or I know a lot of other people use stuff that you can buy at the store, and it's like an aloe vera water gel. That's sort of similar to this, but this is just a more natural way to do it. So this part I'm adding the remainder of the water to the solution, and I'm just making sure that everything measures out properly. Once I've added all that water into the solution, I went ahead and I mixed it with my immersion blender a few times just to make sure that we got all of the water and the aloe kind of incorporated with each other. So you're just going to go ahead and mix it until it's fully blended. Now this part is kind of a little bit of a personal preference. I like to freeze all of my lye water solution and to have little ice cubes. You don't have to do this. You can actually probably mix this in right away. I just always get worried about scorching the additives that I'm putting in there when we mix them with the lye, or sometimes it does take a long time for that lye water to cool down. So I just go ahead and put them off to the side, and then when I have more time later, I go ahead and actually start mixing the lye into a few of the cubes, and then I just kind of give it a good stir until the cubes are fully melted. One thing that I do want to mention though, when you are mixing, lye and cube, like ice cubes or something like that, or maybe even any other alternative to full water, I always stir the mixture, a couple minutes longer than I normally would, and I try to hold it up to like a light source to see if I'm getting having any clumps of the lye in the solution. You can also use a strainer when you pour it into your pot to make sure that all of the lye is fully incorporated. Now, a lot of times while I'm waiting for the lye and the water to kind of mix together, I go ahead and work on something else. So these are the colors that I use from Nurture Soap to create some embeds for the top of the soap. And these are just little succulents that I thought would go along with the aloe vera theme, kind of keeping it fresh. And if you guys are curious to what mold this is, you can probably find it at Walmart, or I think I got mine at Joann's, and it's just a Wilton succulent mold. They sell these just about everywhere, it seems like. Again, so I kind of just kept incorporating the ice cubes into the lime mixture. One thing you might be asking yourself is, why are we even using aloe vera in a soap? Well, it's got lots of healing properties for your skin It is good at anti-aging. It's thought to be good for like healing wounds or soothing sunburn. So since it is summertime, sometimes I have people ask if there's any soaps that help with sunburn. I don't know if this necessarily helps with sunburn. I haven't tested it myself, but this is one that I would maybe recommend, but not claim that it actually is doing anything or healing anything. And I don't normally sunburn, but this is a nice summer soap. So I went ahead and measured out all of my oils, and the measurements are listed here. I do apologize. I thought my camcorder was recording some of these oils, and I realized it wasn't, so I just put in some stock imagery with the measurements. Let me know if you guys like the way this looks in the video, because I will probably continue to do it this way if you guys like it. So you just want to measure everything out. One thing I did want to say about the aloe butter, if you don't have it, you can buy it at, Brambleberry, or Wholesale Supplies Plus has it. But if you don't have the aloe butter itself, I kind of looked at the ingredients, and to me it just looks like it is coconut oil infused with more aloe. So, you might be able to omit that or replace that with some coconut oil, but do make sure you run it through the soap calculator if you plan on doing that. Now real quick, I just wanted to show the colors that I'm using for the rest of my soap. I thought a nice neon yellow and a purple and a blue would just reiterate the fact that this is like an aloe soap, and it said it would be fun. I'm also using sea salt and lily, and as part of the Salt of the Earth fragrance oil collection, I'm going to be doing a review on that collection in cold process soap. It should be on my channel sometime later this month. And I just wanted to point that out. Out of all of the fragrance oils that I tried in this collection, this one was by far my favorite. It did have a nice fruity sort of sea smell to it. That's how I would explain it. But just keep an eye out for the video, or look for it. And if you want to know more about the sea collection, it's just something I purchased on my own. I'm not sponsored by Brambleberry or anything like that. It's just my opinion. So again, I chose the neon yellow to kind of mimic that sort of citrus smell that was coming through on the fragrance oil, and then the blue and the purple was just because it felt, cooling like the aloe. And once all the soap was mixed up, I kind of just decided that I wanted to do like a little drop swirl in it. So I poured a little bit of the regular base, which I forgot to mention on the regular base, I did add some kaolin clay. You don't have to do that. I just did it because I feel like it holds the smell a little better, and I thought it would help contrast the yellow and the kaolin clay color a little bit more. But when it cured, it didn't really like show that as much. So again, I just kind of dumped all that in there and got everything into the pot the best I could. Once I got everything poured into the mold, I kind of gently went ahead and started placing those succulent shapes. I didn't wait long enough for the soap to thicken up, so I kind of, had some of them sinking down in there. But once they were all placed, they started to look good. I was going to put sea salt on the top of this, but I noticed it wasn't really like adding anything to the soap. It was just kind of distracting, so I only put it in like 1 or 2 spots and left the rest without it. So I went ahead and let this sit for about, I would say, 24 hours before I popped it out of the mold. And I just went ahead and cut it like I normally would. I don't have video of showing me actually taking it out of the mold this time, but I do have a shot of the final cut piece if you want to see that. I just want to thank you all for watching the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have questions or comments, please leave them down below. Either I will answer them, or hopefully somebody else in the soaping community will help you out. Like always, thank you guys for watching. See you next week.